What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Rad and Dad channel video, or welcome if it's your first time. Either way, very glad to have you. It's a really quick video, so let's hurry up and roll that intro.
Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a
Alrighty, so in a continuation of this FXRT fairing, or FXRP, I always forget which one is which. Either way, this is the one I have from Dominator. We're going to talk about buffeting. For those of you who don't know what buffeting is like the turbulent air when it hits your helmet and it kind of vibrates your helmet or shakes your head around. Often caused when air is either hitting your head at a turbulent manner and not smooth, like it would be if you had zero fairing, or when the wind is hitting you at a weird area or like that. So basically the only time you get buffeting is when you have a windshield or a fairing specifically. Windshields, typically you look through them and they basically are like a wall. You almost never get buffeting issues with a full windshield like you would like if you think like a Heritage or a Road King style windshield. You typically get it with fairings. So brings us back to this. I had the stock windshield on it and I had buffeting. So I figured the Clockworks 9-inch would take care of it. That's kind of what they're supposed to be for. The shape of it helps direct the air and changes the turbulence of it and stuff, and supposed to make it just more aerodynamic and streamless. So about the 9-inch one, tried that out, had better buffeting, like not as bad as the stock one, but still as bad. I talked to one guy who's about the same. Foot's getting stuck on something down there. Talked to one guy on Instagram that had the exact same issues I did. He bought the 12-inch Clockworks and he said it completely mitigated all of it and it was perfect from there on out. So I bought the 12-inch Clockworks and for whatever reason, buffeting for me was worse. Now, before, those of you who understand what buffeting is and have experience with it, you're probably gonna be like, well, what helmet are you using? Come on, what helmet? What helmet? I have used an Arai Corsair X, I've used a Ruroc, I've used a AGV K6, I've used a Scorpion XO Air or Air XO R1 Air. Jeez, that's an odd way to say it. And I feel like there's even been another helmet that I just can't even think of right now that I tried. But anyway, I've tried a half helmet, an old half helmet that I've had laying around, and I went no helmet at all because we don't have a helmet law in Florida, and I carry the proper insurance anyway. So I went no helmet and tried it with just glasses just to see what it's like. And I still had the issues. Now, so far with everything that I've had, the Clockworks 9-inch has been the least buffeting for me. And the easiest way for me to kind of really tell is cruising about 25 or 30, I'll flip up my visor or take my glasses off and just open my eyes. Now, for me, about that speed in the plain wind, I could open my eyes, and there's wind, but I can open my eyes. I'd have to squint a little bit with the turbulent air, like the buffeting style with this. My eyes would kind of like force open and shut, and it would be hard to keep, my eyes actually open because of the kind of vibrating air, if that's the best way to describe it, that was hitting my face right at about bridge of nose area, somewhere around there. That's where it would start and up, and it would take about inch or two above my head to clear that area and be like normal wind flow that you would have. And I kind of tested that by standing up on the bike and just standing higher and higher until it felt like normal. So then I was like, in my head, I was thinking, well, maybe what I need is just to get the wind off of my body, which is going to cut a lot of that fatigue out, but have the wind hit my head because I still get some venting and that wouldn't be that bad. It'll kind of be almost like a compromise, best of both worlds kind of thing with this fairing. So I went ahead and ran the bike without any fairing at all on it just to see, or without any windshield on it at all, just to see what it would be like with just the fairing. And I didn't get really any buffeting at all, but I did get a ton of wind as you would expect. So I went ahead, and I'll post some pictures now, I went ahead and cut up, very well done in my opinion, but I cut up the stock windshield since this was one of the worst options. As of right now, the 9-inch was better from Clockworks. So I cut up the stock windshield about 1.5 inches, 2 inches shorter, so basically just enough to clear the actual carbon fiber fairing itself. I'm gonna put that back on, and I still had, it was better than it was before, but still not as good as the 9-inch Clockworks. I started experiencing buffeting earlier on with that than I did with the Clockworks, and again, I could leave my eyes open a little bit better and easier with the Clockworks than that. So now I am kind of in the middle of, do I really want to keep this fairing or not? Because if the buffeting's really that bad, I can't use the fairing for what the ideal purpose is, which is keeping the wind and fatigue off. So I started talking to more and more people with this fairing. Unfortunately, I found a lot of people that kind of hit and miss, but a lot of people specifically with the Dominator that are having buffeting issues as well, but they were all using the stock windshield on it. So, and everyone was like, well, I heard the Clockworks does this and that. I was like, well, yeah, I heard that too. That's why I bought them, but here we are. So what I had done now was take the front assembly completely off. That's why I'm currently now, I have to reset my my headlight because I took it off, flipped it and stuff just to try a different angle with it. But mainly what this was to do was to try to fix the angle potentially. Now those of you who understand this fairing, or if you watched my video for install, this is not a fairing like a typical fairing where you can almost like infinite adjustability, up or down, angled, front, back. It's not like that obviously because you have two mount points, one of which is on the frame. So I can't speak for other fairings that, other FXRP or FXRT fairings. I can't speak for those as far as, adjustability, but this one, you can only adjust it about maybe about a ½ inch, somewhere around there. And I believe, so because you also have to mount to the bottom. What I believe my fairing was in the past, I should have paid more attention to, but I believe it was all the way in the back, part of it more forward and more straight. I believe it was there because that's kind of where it wants to fall to. So what I did was loosen those bolts, reset it, pushed it up, and tighten it as far front as it would go, which means this moved it about a ½ inch closer to me as the rider, and it more important than anything, it tilted it up. So now this windshield is more of a tilted than it is a flat. I have yet to ride it yet, but that is something that I have to do over the next few days. I'm going to test it with all the windshields again before I try to return everything. And that's kind of where we're at. So if you have this fairing, if you've had buffeting, please let me know that you've also had buffeting. I've also been in the middle of kind of deciding if I want to buy another Simpson helmet. Part of me is kicking myself in the butt because I wish I would have kept it. That is well known to be one of the least buffeting helmets out there. However, I still have my Ruroc Atlas 4.0, and that is a very similar profile. And my understanding is that it also has, and out of the helmets I tried, that was the least buffeting of the ones I have right now. So part of me doesn't really want to spend money on the Simpson yet. If it winds up getting to a point where I like it and the Ruroc is the only one that doesn't buff it, I will go ahead and buy a Simpson because the Simpson in my mind is 100% better option than the Ruroc, or I might even try a different helmet. So that's where we're at right now. And the reason I don't want a Simpson Ghost Bandit and I want a Mod Bandit instead is because the vent holes on the top of the Mod Bandit or the Ghost Bandit don't close, and I want a completely weatherproof unit like the Mod Bandit does have closable vents. So that's the main reason there. Not necessarily the modular, but more so the fact that the Ghost Bandit doesn't have as many features as I want. As far as those closing and open vents. So that's where we're at. Again, if you have any issues with this fairing, please let me know. Please let me know if you have any opinions or, fixes, if you want, advice. That's the word I'm looking for. Let me know if you have any advice on this matter or anything like that. If you had a fairing and you just couldn't make it work too, am I just looking for too much? Is there just always going to be buffeting with this fairing? Just let me know. I appreciate you guys watching very much. Check out all the links in the description. Save yourself some money. Watch some cool videos. Make sure you subscribe to The Riding Dad. Hit the thumbs up on this video because I think I deserve it, and I would definitely appreciate it. And until the next time, guys, ride safe, have fun. Dad out.